I've always been interested in energy conservation and alternative energy sources. By trade, I'm an oceanographer, so equally trained in physics, chemistry, and biology. And of course, the physics and chemistry lend itself quite nicely to engineering. I'm recording this not because I'm a movie star, because obviously I'm not, but I'm hoping that maybe somebody will take some of my ideas and use them themselves, especially the lower tech ones. The project that we're working on now is, of course, solar refrigeration. Your refrigerator and your freezers use a lot of power, and by taking those offline, I can reduce my usage of the grid power even more.
All right, we're ready to put the pole in the ground.
Well, that's good, Philip.
We're gonna let the concrete seep in the little notches there and tamp it down and brace it off. Let it dry till tomorrow.
Let's get her done.
All right, go the other way just one time. All right, put some cement in there. Run your shovel down in there a few times. We got to make some more concrete. We're going to put some down the top of that pipe.
Yeah. Make it good.
This is really wet.
Yep, that's good on a hot day like this, Philip. I don't think that pole's going to go anywhere now.
Because this one's going to go like so and like so. What we're doing is we're going to put 4 batteries in series. And these are 6-volt batteries. So when you hook 4 of them together in series like this, you add up to 24 volts. The refrigerator runs on this 12-volt battery, and the freezer runs on these the 24-volt. We're gonna scoot this all back. What we're doing here is we're repurposing these 6x6 post beams that he has that will make a good platform for these batteries. And we can get the plywood up there and flush this edge and this edge or something, both. Okay, this one right here will complete the platform that we need to hold the batteries. Pretty sturdy platform.
My interest is not so much in high-tech toys, it's in more low-tech, earth-friendly, easy-to-build situations. For example, this house is a raised bed garden style of house, a passive solar house. If you look off this way, you'll see that the house is elevated over the level of the ground that Mother Nature provided. And this large amount of fill that we brought in and built the house on acts as a solar collector of heat. And then over the summer, this very large berm that this house sits on collects heat from the sun, and then it transmits it to the slab what we're standing on, which is 2 feet thick, and it becomes the thermal mass that heats and cools the house. So it has no moving parts. It's just a matter of calculating your mass balance for your thermal equations so that you can see the flow of energy from the heat storage in the berm into the house. So in the wintertime, the slab is warm and it keeps the house warm. In late August and early September, it'll reach about 82 Fahrenheit, and then it gives up heat to the house, and then by April or so, it's down to 65. So if you say 75 is a comfortable temperature that you like to live at, we're only talking about raising the temperature 10 degrees in the cold part of the year, or lowering it 10 degrees in the warm part of the year. And that doesn't take very much energy. And as I say, there's no moving parts. That's just simple Mother Nature doing all the work for me. Well, what we're doing is installing a direct current system of refrigeration. It doesn't need the power of your grid system. It doesn't need 110 or 220 volts because it's a 12-volt system. Then this is the freezer. It runs on 24 volts, also direct current. These things probably use about a third of the energy that the refrigerator that sits in your normal kitchen uses. They're built in El Paso, Texas, and they're built by people that used to work from NASA, and they use the NASA technology to design the system. It's a chest-type refrigerator, and it's a highly efficient refrigerator, much more efficient than the standard one you find in your kitchen. It opens up in the front, because of course cold air wants to sink. My personal feeling is that I'm going to have both energy efficiency and I'm going to have energy sufficiency. I won't be tied to the grid. For example, when the grid goes down, I won't have to worry about food spoiling. And for me, that food security is a very important issue. Also, it'll cut my electric bill somewhat because, of course, during the peak hours when you pay the most for your energy, these things will be running on the solar system. They won't be taking energy off the grid.
Okay, this is the charge controller for the refrigerator, and it's a 12 or 24 volt charge controller. Of course, we're going to be using it for 12 volts. And again, this is the breaker box. In solar power, they call it a combiner box. And everything's going to come into here first from the solar panels, and then it'll come out and come into these, and then it'll come to the batteries from the charge controllers. We're just getting them close. We may have to move them a little bit when we get put the cables on them. We're just basically getting them up here off of the ground.
Hello, I'm AJ, and I live in Hill Country, Texas, and what I want to talk about is my solar hot water system. The system is very simple. On the roof there's a collector that is an aluminum box with a high-tech glass cover, and in that is a bunch of copper coils, and through that flows a material called glycol. It's antifreeze, like the antifreeze in your pickup truck. That in turn comes down into this tank here, and this tank has copper coils that go all the way up and down in it, and the glycol circles in there, and then that heats the water in this tank. This tank is a 40-gallon tank. There's just 2 of us that live in this house, and that's more than enough hot water for us. The only power to the system is this little 1/10 horsepower motor here that helps get the glycol moving. After that, it becomes a thermal siphon and pumps itself along. And right now, in this particular tank, on the roof, it is 141, that's in Fahrenheit. And here in the tank, it is 140. So we can use hot water all day long on this. We can wash clothes with it, wash dishes, take a shower, or whatever. The residual heat will last through the night. light. When I get up in the morning, it'll be about 110, 112 degrees, which is perfect shower temperature. Then as the day comes along, it'll heat up the water. So by noon, when we want to do the dishes, we'll have water hotter than you would ever want to use. And I think it's probably the most easily paid back investment you can make in solar. It pays itself back in 3 to 5 years, and it just makes a lot of sense. And we've been very, very happy with it. Our system is now like 3 years old, never had a problem. So think about it.
All right, let's get these forms off. I save all them screws, he'll use them again. You might as well take these back apart too. I mean, that concrete might be dry, but it doesn't cure for 28 days.
Oh yeah. I wet it last night, I'll wet it again.
Okay, which way's the west? Over here behind me?
Well, south is here. And the sun sets over here.
Okay, so about like that.
Well, let me get my compass.
I got 2 brackets on here and I got 2 panels. The refrigerator is a smaller panel and the smaller system. It's gonna get the morning and the afternoon sun, and the bigger one for the freezer is gonna get the afternoon and the evening sun. And that's plenty to keep them charged. The smaller panel is gonna go out pretty level. But it's getting sun right now because it's 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, about when it's going to start producing anyway.
9:30 this morning is when this spot was full of sun.
Right.
I'm not worried about the summertime when we're going to have a surplus of energy. It's in the wintertime whether we're going to have enough or not. And that, we'll just have to run it and see if it's enough panels.
Well, those batteries are supposed to run that thing for 6 days without any sun.
Yeah.
So that's as high as we can get it, and we can't have it on the other side. We'd essentially had to have 2 poles. But come look at the angle. We ain't really got it adjusted, but the overall angle, if you kind of look from over here, you can see more of an angle. This one side's got to go up, Ray, I think. Yeah, we can always adjust it. We can turn them. We can change the angle.
That's the thing of beauty, boys.
The thing we got to understand is in a few hours, those batteries are going to be back charged, and they're not going to be doing anything. They're just going to be sitting there. All right, now. Right there.
Well, I'm AJ, and this is my house. Welcome to it. This is my buddy Philip here. He's my installer for my solar systems from Kerrville, Texas. And today we're going to talk about our mini split direct current air conditioner unit that Philip installed. This is the indoor unit. As you can see, it's relatively small. It's running. You can hardly hear this thing. It makes very, very little noise. And it runs pretty much full time. As you can see, I've got it set on 74 degrees, which is a very comfortable temperature. My house is about 1,200 square feet, and this one unit, along with the ceiling fans that help circulate the air, keeps the house at that temperature all day long, and we've never had an issue with it. It's about a year old now. I'm extremely happy with it.
This is the condenser for the mini split. It's very small, very quiet, and it's running right now on 750 watts of solar power. Okay, here you can see the solar panels that are on the roof. They're mounted up on the metal roof with a rack, and there's 3 250 watt solar panels there. Those go down to the air conditioner and give it the power that it needs. It also hooks to the conventional 220 power, and it needs it to operate. It won't operate without the 220 power, just because it has little switches in it to operate it on solar. And of course, he actually has the unit that came with his house, but he never does run this one because he doesn't need to.
If it hits something, I think it's a nail.
We probably put double sill on it.
It'll cut. You just gotta hold on tight. And got any camel snot?
We're gonna have to glue this as we go, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a fish tape, but this is look how much we got.
Yeah.
Plus a ground wire. We're taping all 4 of these wires together so we can pull them through the conduit. Yeah, we're not gonna glue nothing yet.
A little loop in there so you have a little bit of slack in your corner.
Yeah, I just hope we have 8 foot over there.
We got over 8 foot.
Well, I only need 8 foot. Well, we're probably going to bring them all over here and zip tie them to where these connectors are underneath that. Just hold it up there and let me look at it. See. Look, this one, the big flat one, has to come all the way over here,
Yeah.
inside that box.
Okay.
So we need more.
Yeah. Just regular conduit glue.
Yeah, it ain't got primer on it. Now we're gluing the conduit together. We got the wire all in there, ready to go. Normally you bury the conduit in the ground, but this country around here is pretty much solid rock. Tell you what, before we get too tired, let's go do this ground rough. I'm pushing it in the ground.
Getting solid, man. I mean, now it's getting rough. I think that's all we're getting. You got about 4 foot in there.
We got those 2 like this, and we're gonna put 2 more, make a square.
Yeah, and then put number 6 wire in.
And well, yeah, it's number 6 wire anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
There's those 3 here, and we're ready to be able to start fishing these wires through the conduit and strap it up to the pole. Put a little turn down, it's almost like a weather head so water doesn't get down inside the pipe and the conduit.
That's rubbish now.
Everything else is tightened down.
Pretty sturdy. This is what you call a drip loop. Any water that does get on the wire will run to the lowest point and drip off. I want it real neat like this right here. And tape from here over this whole thing.
Yeah, just completely wrap that.
And then a little bit right here.
Yeah.
Just so it holds that shape.
Sure.
20.1.
That's good.
Volts. We got the solar panels wired up. I'm gonna close up the cover.
Well, here we are outside the house, and this is one of my toys. This is a solar oven. As you can see, it has brushed aluminum, highly polished aluminum wings that collect the sun and focus it down into this black box. It's black painted inside, so it absorbs the heat. It has a glass cover. It's very simple. And during the warm months, we do a lot of cooking in this solar oven. We like to cook corn on the cob, sweet potatoes, rice, beans, baked cornbread, those kinds of things. It gets hot enough to roast meat. It's been in the sun for about 45 minutes. Right now, the temperature is 408 degrees, which is hot enough to cook anything you can imagine. It's very simple. It just has a glass lid that you lift up, put your food in there. And the only thing that you have to do, since it has no moving parts, is you are the moving part that has to come along and change the angle of it a little bit so that you're tracking the sun and so that it's getting a maximum amount of solar insolation. The only other thing I have to do is every once in a while I have to polish the aluminum mirrors. Other than that, it's a real fun toy to play with. This particular one is a commercial model. The reason I bought it is that some of the proceeds are sent to places like Sub-Saharan Africa, where they help people buy these and cook with them where there's a fuel shortage. They can also be scaled up to very large sizes, enough to cook food for a whole village. And during the 5 really sunny months of the year, I do a lot of cooking in this. It's a real fun toy to play with. So have fun out there.
We're gonna go back outside and finish the rest of the ground rod. And then we come back inside for a minute. We're not so hot. Well, because we couldn't go so deep, we cut that other one in half and put 2. Now we're gonna put 2 more. Now, we're ready for the wire.
Because the rock is so solid around here, you can't drive a full 8 foot. So what we have is 4 separate grounding rods, all linked in a circuit. So it gives you the proper amount of ground, so you don't have to worry about any lightning strikes or anything else. It's grounded out. Okay, what I'm about to do now is take these clamps and take that conduit, raise it up off the ground, keeps it out of the water, keeps rodents from chewing on it, just makes it look better.
Okay, what I'm looking for is the load connector.
So what are we reading here? These numbers are changing over time on this little dial here.
Okay, right there we got the battery voltage is 13.1, the solar amps is 7.3, and the load amps is 4.1. The load should stay pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Say they're going to take overnight to get to operating temperature.
Well, here we are. We have the system up and running. As you can hear it, it's a very low hum. Both the big freezer here, 14 cubic feet of freezer, and my 8 cubic feet of refrigerator are working. We've got the 24 volt system for the big boy, and we've got the little 12 volt system for the other. The charge controllers are in. We're able to see what's going on. I got a surplus of energy, and so hopefully I now have food security. I'm extremely happy. I hope the system lasts for several years. See you later.